It is actually morning when I'm doing this. Hot Choccy chat.
Hot Choccy chats. We're gonna chat and have some jockey.
Yeah, we are.
And it's hot.
So hot.
So hot.
But it's a rainy day today, so a hot Choccy at, what are we? 11 o'clock in the morning is great. I wanted to do a hot Choccy chat on postnatal depression or postpartum depression or any type of depression after a baby, after a pregnancy, after a miscarriage. It has been about 2.5 months since I lost my baby. And although my baby hadn't progressed past 6 weeks, my body thought it was pregnant up until 12.5 weeks. So I had all of those hormones in my system until 12.5 weeks when I eventually passed the baby. And it's been about 2.5 months since then. Now, by the time I found out that the baby hadn't grown past 6 weeks and didn't have a heartbeat to when I finally passed the baby was a few weeks. So during that time, I thought that I had really coped with the overall message of I'm not having a baby in December. When December rolls around, there will not be a baby. I won't be pregnant. This isn't turning into my 3rd child. My boys won't be having an extra sibling at Christmas time. I had thought that I'd processed this and really accepted that message, right? And then, oh, geez, that's comforting for the soul. And then I passed the baby, and at that point where my head was at was, geez, I'm glad I can finally move on from this. Geez, I'm glad that I didn't have to have surgery and that my body naturally did what it needed to do. Geez, I'm glad that I can now put this behind me. And it was a sense of relief. And if anything, I probably felt a little bit guilty that I was relieved. During this period, you would have seen in my miscarriage vlog, Tim was not there and Tim was not coping well at all. He was really struggling with what was going on, and his way of dealing with things is running away and basically burying his head in the sand and ignoring what's going on, ignoring me and what I need. And he kind of just goes into like a mental shutdown of sorts. So he was doing that whilst I was in between finding out baby had stopped growing to losing baby. He was going through it. And obviously it was hard that I didn't have my partner there to support me, but you know, understandable that he was dealing with things the way he deals with things. Then he came out of that, and then I came out of my situation, and we've kind of met back in the middle, and we're thinking, great, let's move forward in this journey of life. But then, like cute that could be really optimistic and what's going to happen, but we kind of went pew, and he went off. And he started really looking after himself and really, you know, working on his self-development and his growth and how he reacts to these things, and working on his weight and working on what he's eating and his diet. And he's actually lost 10 kilos, probably a little bit more than 10 kilos now in that time. You know, he's being really productive, very positive, and he's just doing very well. And I've kind of gone off in this direction where I'm having lots of mood swings and I'm having insomnia where I can't sleep at night. I'm having these days where I'm really motivated and positive and productive and getting things done, and then the immediate 3 days after, I'll be like in a slump and I can't do anything and I'm not okay mentally. And so I'm like all over the show, and he's off, you know, skipping down this really nice lane on his own, doing his little thing. And obviously seeing someone do so well after what is quite a traumatic time for us, I felt some sort of resentment towards him, that like, why are you doing so good? Like, does this not bother you? Like, is this not affecting you the way it affects me? Like, are you not seeing that I'm not doing that well? But that's a me issue, right? He is allowed to go off and work on himself, deal with it in a positive light now, because he did have his time where he didn't deal with it so well. And I didn't really notice that I wasn't doing well. For the most part, I thought I was doing great. I'm writing in my journals, I'm posting to YouTube weekly, being consistent with this. I'm connecting and networking with some other YouTube mamas, and I've made some really great connections there. You know, I'm really like chipping away at my goals. I'm manifesting a house into my life. I'm manifesting my debts being paid off, and all of these things are sort of coming to fruition, and opportunities are arising, and everything's going really well. But why am I suddenly having a mental breakdown? It was the weekend of Nixon's dad and stepmom's wedding. And you know that I love Nixon's stepmom like she's an extension of me. She is my family. She is helping me raise this child, and I could not think of a more worthy and better person to do so. But for some reason, their wedding and her becoming, you know, officially into the family and taking my son's last name, somehow it made me sad. It made me sad that I couldn't have my son's last name. Not that I want my ex back or anything like that. That's not it. But it did make me sad. It's almost like I felt left out. And during this weekend, this was when we were away at this beautiful apartment. It was a full moon, and I don't know about y'all, but I am crazy during a full moon. I am crazy. The full moon falls in line with when I get my period. So I got my period. It was a full moon. Tim's off, you know, losing weight, feeling amazing, skipping down the road, hallelujah, happy days. Nixon's stepmama is now taking my son's last name, and I feel left out of the equation. All of these things, coupled with the fact there has got to be some hormone imbalance going on after having a miscarriage, because I was an absolute psychopath after I had Zaid. I was an absolute psychopath. Everything bothered me, everything made me cry, everything made me angry. Like, there was not a day that went by that I didn't have some sort of like reaction to something. And I've started doing it again. I've started having really bad reactions to everything. And this weekend in particular, I don't know, it just triggered something. And then the following week, whoo, it's been like 2.5 weeks since then, and I'm still not okay. I am still like often quite teary really easily. I'm still getting mad really easily. I am just not okay. And it took like a really bad episode of like disassociation from what was going on, abusing Tim, like abusing him. I asked him to be there for me, and he was like, no, like, you're good, you're okay. And I lost it, like I lost it. And then I sat back and went, oh my God, I have got some sort of postpartum depression. Something is going on here. I have a hormone imbalance. I have something. I have some sort of trauma response to the miscarriage. Like, something is not right and something is going on. I was booked in to see my GP to get a new mental health care plan so I can go see a psychologist. I've been seeing a psychologist on and off for 8 years, but I do want to try and see one that's more focused on maybe like trauma or like postpartum depression so that I can get to the bottom of this. Now, I know I'm going to be okay. I know that I just need to keep pushing through and doing all the things. If you haven't watched my tips for anxiety and depression and you struggle with mental health, like, go check it out, because those are the things that I am doing and I'm trying to stay consistent in doing them. But in saying that, you do have to allow for the fact that not every day you are going to be able to get up and do all the things. You will need time to grieve. You will need time to be not okay. You will need time to be sad or be feeling what you're feeling. Like I said in that previous video, like, you need time to lean into the feelings. And at the moment, I'm having more bad days than good. And I can only control what I can control. I am doing all of the things that I can, and I will get in to see a psychologist. We've just had a lockdown here, so I've had to reschedule and move some things around, but I will get there and I will do what I need to do and be in control of what I can control. But I can't get frustrated and I can't get upset when there are things beyond my control, like the way I feel. I cannot control that some days I am having really bad mood swings. I cannot control that some days I am depressed and stay in bed and don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. I'm crying for days on end. I cannot control that. I can only do what I'm doing, and I need to be confident in the fact that eventually this constant is going to even out. All right, so I feel actually better for getting that all off my chest and explaining what's been going on with me lately, but I just wanted to keep it real with you. This is what's going on with me. This is what's happening to me. This is my experience after a miscarriage. I'm working hard to try and get back to that place I was at last year, where I was doing quite well mentally, physically, just all over really. But we will get there together, okay? And if we share these experiences together, it makes me feel, people going through similar things, feel like you're not alone. And that's my purpose here on this channel. To be relatable, to be real, to let you know that you are not alone in the things you're going through. Today, I look like I'm holding my shit together, but tomorrow I could be in bed all day with my phone off and I won't speak to anybody for 24 hours. Okay? That's just where we're at. That's just what's going on. All right, I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.